And you can put up the slide. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar that has been titled Democratizing the Tinting System. We will wait for just 1 minute for the audience to settle in, and then we'll get started on time. So thanks to everyone who has turned up on time, and just bear with us for a couple of minutes, please. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We already have a fairly healthy attendance. Thanks once again to everyone for showing up on time. One of the many things that we'd like to do in our quest for excellence is to harbor, a culture of punctuality and respecting the time and the effort of all those who have shown up on time, all our esteemed panelists, all our audience, and the numbers will go up. We'd like to get started on cue. So a warm welcome to everyone on behalf of us as Paint India, who are the media partners for this event, and of course, Fast and Fluid Management, who are the promoters or the moving force behind today's event. We also have very esteemed panelists with us in our midst, and I will introduce them individually going ahead. So very quickly, the idea of convening this particular webinar was to allow us to get an objective view of the whole tinting process. Not so much the process, because it's not an unknown quantity for us, in the paint industry. But we wanted to try and challenge ourselves, push the envelope, and see how there could be a larger adoption of the tinting process right across the paint industry. Percolating down to potentially smaller manufacturers, and more importantly, potentially smaller retail outlets, who are eventually the ambassadors for our paint industry. With this particular sentiment in mind, we have put together this little brief webinar of about 75 minutes. Our gratitude on record goes to Fast and Fluid Management, who are of course the hosts for today, but it's their initiative that has allowed us to get started with this. So before we start with the panel discussion, which contextualizes what we want to speak, and we will hear from various experts who will share their opinions, their pain points, and their suggestions on how this can actually be taken forward as a movement going ahead. After which we actually have a deeper drill down into something more specific on how we could possibly be looking at a solution to some of the problems that we have. So before I really get started with the introductions, just while everyone is settling down, I'd like to play a brief video. So if we could quickly have that, please.
Paint comes in every color and composition imaginable. And here at Fast and Fluid, we lead the way in mixing and blending solutions for the paint industry. Whether you're a major international paint company or a local paint retailer anywhere in the world, we'll help you dispense and disperse perfect colors that are truly indispensable. Fast and Fluid Management, your global partner in tinting solutions. Fast and Fluid Management, a division of IDEX Corporation, has a proud history in quality design and engineering excellence in tinting solutions. And our passion for perfection is growing on a global scale, with main offices and production sites in the US, China, India, Australia, Italy, and the Netherlands. Our worldwide sales and service network supports customers in 60 countries, and you can find our products on every continent, except the Antarctic. A team of over 500 skilled professionals worldwide is dedicated to helping you realize your goals. That's our #1 priority. Our patented technologies are designed to ensure accurate dispensing and perfect mixing under all circumstances, from small to large quantities, whether manually or fully automated. Without the proper software, the dispenser can't do its job. Our dedicated research and development team develops and tests software of the highest industry standards. We understand that accuracy, reliability, and durability mean a lot. Our new laser fiber cutting machine uses state-of-the-art technology to ensure millimeter precision cutting to exact specifications. Each component is then carefully shaped and treated, ready to be fitted in the machine. With future-driven innovations, such as our fully automated milling machine, we can manufacture tinning machines on a large scale without any compromising quality. To give you the best results, we control the entire process, from development and production to worldwide support. Putting a paint dispenser, mixer, or shaker together is precision work, and at Fast and Fluid, we leave nothing to chance. Our skilled team not only knows every part of every machine, we also follow precise assembly procedures to ensure all parts work perfectly together. From the industry-proven technology of our piston pumps to the software that controls the machine, we always aim for the highest standards. Every machine, its parts, and software are thoroughly tested. Specially designed measuring equipment and testing software help us analyze the components to make sure we meet our own high-quality requirements, ISO 9001 standards, and CE standards. Our machines are also tested on endurance, so customers worldwide can enjoy perfect paint colors every time. Service is key at Fast and Fluid. After installment, we provide full training and worldwide support for all our tinting equipment. You can always rely on getting the quality service you need quickly wherever you are. Discover more on how our mixing and dispensing solutions can help you and your customers create perfect colors. Visit us at fastfluid.com.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So with that little background, we'd like to get started with the panel discussion, and I'd like to introduce rather, the old habits of the physical conference still hold good. So we're all already here on the so-called stage, but I'll introduce our moderator first, Mr. Balu Kuppuswamy. He's the General Manager at Fast and Fluid Management Asia. He brings over 30 years of rich experience performing technical, commercial, and general management roles in global manufacturing companies. Most importantly, he brings a lot of cross-cultural experience.
Are you taking an ECG here?
He brings a lot of cross-cultural experience, having worked across various geographies, and he will be the moderator for today's session. Our panelist, we have Mr. Vinod Das. He is General Manager and Head of Marketing Services and Business Development at Berger Paints India. A role a company he has been with for the better part of the last 3 decades now. So he is an evangelist of new technologies, including the adoption of tinting systems and also new age technologies like IoT. So we are extremely pleased to have Mr. Das in our midst. We were to have had Mr. Pramod Baleri also joining us, but there's been a personal exigency, so we will have to, he has sought leave of absence from us, and we wish him well. We have Mr. Aditya Gain. He is director at Acro Paints Limited and is a graduate from Delhi University with a master's degree from UK in financial risk management and marketing. So Acro, as you know, is one of the leading lights in the MSME paint industry, and we look forward to his perspectives from that particular lens. Mr. Jagdish Acharya needs no introduction, but nevertheless, my pleasant duty to do so. He is the Chief Executive at the Paint and Skill Council, and we all know him from our interaction with him over the past 4 decades, where he's held various leadership positions within India as well as overseas. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Vilas Gupte. He is the head of the color business at AGS and brings over 50 years of experience, over 5 decades of experience in the field of color measurement, color matching, and he has also been one of the pioneers in establishing tinting systems in India. So we have a very diverse, eclectic, and very erudite panel amongst us. And in the fitness of things, I'd like to hand it over to our moderator and allow him to drive forward this panel discussion, which can really bring out and we can derive a lot of information from this panel, which revolves around the theme of this webinar today, democratizing the tinting system. So, Mr. Balu, I'd hand the stage over to you, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Dilip. Good afternoon to all the participants and welcome to this panel discussion. And good afternoon to all our panelists here. Thank you for joining us. And as we all know, worldwide, India has the largest number of POS outlets. And the per capita consumption of the paint is still not up to the global, I would say, the developing countries level. So there is a lot of opportunity here for the paint industry to grow, and more so in the tier 3 and tier 4 cities, and it is for the large companies as well as MSME. So today I would like to invite discussions around how can we encash this opportunity, what we need to be doing, not only in terms of the tinting technology, in terms of the skill sets that are required at the POS outlets. We'll talk about that. And first, I would like to invite Mr. Vinod Das, you for sharing your thoughts on this opportunity. Obviously, the whole purpose is to have enhanced customer experience in the tier 3 and tier 4 cities, very similar to the experiences the customers are having in the tier 1 and 2 cities in terms of choosing and buying. Yes, Vinod.
Thank you, Balu, and thank you to Fast & Fluid Management for inviting me to be on this panel. Like Dilip mentioned earlier, I'm a very early votary of tinting machines and tinting systems at Berger. So I started my career with Berger way before tinting machines were even introduced in the industry, way back in 1990. And I had the fortune of leading the charge, if I can call it that, of tinting machines into the paint industry. Many of you who are here, of course, are aware of histories and that Jensen Nicholson with Instacolor and shortly followed by Berger with Colorbank pioneered the industry, input of tinting machines into the industry. And at that point of time, there were, as you can imagine, plenty of naysayers, right? For one, the level of investment that a retail, sales point, that is a dealer, required to, convert it or install a tinting machine was significant, even by today's standards. So if you were to extrapolate those expenses to today's day and time, that would be a significant investment, right? To add it to the fact that a computer was something that people only saw in photographs. Most people had not even laid their eyes on a computer, let alone used one. I for one had never only seen the billing computer in my office. I had never seen a PC, for instance, right? But and it is at that point of time that I realized that technology fascinated me. In the 90s, there was very little technology that an average person had to place hands on. At best, you had a 2-in-1, which would play audio cassettes or a VCR. That was the max, the height of consumer technology that was available at those points of time. So to be able to use a computer, and I still remember we used to have software that came in a floppy disk, and we had to load 11 floppy disks one after the other to load the entire software onto the computer. We had to educate the dealer on how to use it. And I remember making the first few color banks that Berger managed to install, and I was a very junior person in sales at that point of time, were installed by me in my sales territory. And pretty much then after that, I was acting as a resource within the company to help other salespeople install color bank machines, which means traveling across various markets, explaining to dealers why color bank machines are important for you, to help them see the impending future, right? And to tell them that, this is something that is going to come eventually and you need to install. And funnily enough, I find that, people are still doing the same, even 25 years later, there are still dealers that you meet and you convince them that, you need to install a tinting machine, which I found quite strange at that, so to say. Technology and so the march of technology, regardless of industry, is inevitable, right? So whether it's the automobile industry, whether it is transportation, whether it is paint, which is our industry, right? Technology has helped improve productivity, has helped improve margins, has helped improve efficiency. So it's something that I think all of us should embrace and embrace increasingly, right? So whether it is introducing tinting technologies at the manufacturing stage, at the distribution stage, or whether at the retailer point, right? At any point of time, I think tinting technologies are here to stay. And I think to increase adoption of tinting technologies is as much the role of paint companies as it is of machine manufacturers such as Fast and Fluid Management. So just to give you a data point, so Britannia, for instance, right? We know the name Britannia Industries. They've been around for 100 plus years. So Berger has been 100 years, nearly 100 years in India as well. Britannia retails its biscuits at something like 8 million retail outlets across the country. And they are by no means the largest distribution footprint. Unilever has way more, I think at least 10 million odd outlets. Telecom companies like Vodafone and Idea and Reliance Jio have even more, right? You can buy a SIM card in nearly any shop that you go to. In comparison, paint is available at possibly 500,000 outlets. If I were to stretch my imagination, at best 1 million outlets in the country. So, I don't know whether it was Dilip or Balu who made the point that the per capita consumption of paint in India is very low. If you look at the sheer distribution of the paint in the country, it's 1/10 that of, a fast-moving consumer good, and probably 1/15th or 1/20th that of a telecom product, which means a country the size of India has huge areas of the country which are paint dark. Paint dark meaning paint is not available, right? And I was talking to a person from Vodafone recently, and he was telling me, and he's been with Vodafone for a long time. He was saying, 5 years back, they used to have a target saying that a Vodafone product should be available to a customer. A customer should not have to travel more than half an hour to access a Vodafone product. And he's saying every year that target gets reduced. Saying now it is that within 5 minutes, a customer should be, able to reach a Vodafone product, which means that the density of a Vodafone distribution is increasing day by day. So one is paint, all paint companies, major, minor, organized, unorganized, whatever, right? The opportunity to expand one's business, availability of paint is massive, right? In India. I can imagine that you and I will all retire and become dust, but the opportunity of increasing paint distribution will still remain. There will still be paint dark. And as long as the country is paint dark, there exists a possibility for you to install tinting machines, right? As the network keeps growing, there are more and more opportunities for you to install tinting machines. So the future, if in that way we look at it, it is extremely, extremely bright, right? Now, where you install, what model, all of that are secondary concerns. So that is one in terms of the opportunity. The second point is in terms of the economics, right? And I remember when we had first launched tinting machine, very few years after we launched our automatic tinting machine, we came out with a semi-automatic model. Primarily because there were a lot of places where there were budget constraints, one, and then there were power issues, right? Where not stable power was not available, and no matter what good government press might say, there are still places with such issues, right? Number one. Number two is that there will always be a budget customer in the country. Everybody may not see value in buying a 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupee machine. There will be people who are looking for different opportunities of, So for instance, in any trade today, if I'm a poor person and I want to buy a digital camera or an istri or a microwave or something. I walk into a store, there is a Bajaj Finserv or a Tata Capital or some guy sitting there. कि आप ये लीजिए और ये लीजिए, आपको पैसे भी नहीं देने हैं, आप सिर्फ अपना पैन कार्ड और फोन नंबर छोड़ जाइए और सामान ले जाइए अपना घर, राइट? इन एनीथिंग 3,000 रुपए की चीज खरीदो, उस पर भी फाइनेंस देने को आदमी बैठा है, राइट? But here the entire thing has been left to paint manufacturers to do the financing or to the retailer himself to finance. So can people look at innovative ways of financing? Right? The dealer. Right? I don't think these options have been considered as yet in any meaningful way. Otherwise, we would not need to have this panel discussion. We would be all busy running around installing machines, right? So what I'm saying is that, like I'll give you an example. So for instance, we launched a service called Express Painting, in 2014, based on insights saying that, consumers had certain pain points when it came to painting their homes. So we worked on removing those pain points, right? And so that customers would not wait 5 years to paint their homes, they would, get a repainting job done in 2 years. So similarly, when it comes to installations, I think people need to identify what are the pain points standing in the way of a dealer installing a machine. I don't think a dealer wants to stay in the stone ages. He also wants to grow his business. वो जब सुबह घर से निकल के दुकान जाता है, वो भी सोच के निकलता होगा ना कि भाई आज गल्ले में कल जितना पैसा है उससे ज्यादा आ जाए, परसों इससे भी ज्यादा है. वो धंधे बढ़ाने की, क्योंकि उसके खर्चे भी बढ़ रहे हैं. He will want to increase his earnings. How are we helping him do that? I mean, of course, there are various ways, but in the context of tinting machines, how are we helping him make that decision easy is also something I think we should consider, right? So larger communication also needs to happen at an industry level, I think. Now all communication is at brand level. So Berger will do something, our peers in the industry will also communicate independently. But I think it's limited to that, right? I think there needs to be a larger discussion around that also. I'm not sure whether there is actually an opportunity to also integrate color with other industries. So for instance, if you go to any of the large decor shows internationally, so there are these Pantone colors of the year and the RAL colors of the year. And apart from paint, those colors are adopted by other people in the building material industry, right? So you'll get crockery using that color of the year. You'll get furnishings, fabrics, all of that. So there is an integration of color as an element of decor with multiple industries in the building material space, which you do not see in our country as yet. But I think that is a change waiting to happen. So these are just some of the remarks. I may have overshot my time, my apologies, but these are a few of the remarks I thought I'd table.
Thank you very much, Mr. Das. I think it's very well narrated, and I have captured. First of all, I think the opportunity is massive in a country like India. You gave references of some other industry retail outlets in India. When compared to that, the opportunity is tremendous, and it's going to be there for years to come. We need to work around the pain points. It could be the power crisis. Can there be a tinting machine which can operate from its own battery during power failure? These are some of the things we can look at. And investment definitely has to be on the lower side for the retail outlet with some finance options available. That is one I captured. And communication, larger communication has to be done. We are working on one more seminar with Paint India and Mr. Acharya for the paint retail outlet people, that team of people. So, and last one you talked about is the integration of the paint with other similar equipments where we could leverage the color of the year. So thank you very much, Mr. Vinod. That is very, very helpful. And also the opportunities is very encouraging for all of us to continue to listen to the pain points and work on the solutions. So with that, I will now request Mr. Aditya to share your views on more specifically how the MSME paint manufacturers can go and encash these opportunities and increase the retail outlets beyond the tier 2 cities.
Thank you, Mr. Balu, Fluid Management, and Dilip for inviting me here to air my views, and of course for the insight that Mr. Das has also provided. I'm going to try and follow that eloquently. Now, where the medium and small scale enterprises are concerned, there are multiple issues that come up, not just finance. Finance is not one of them, because what happens is, like Mr. Das pointed out, resisting the tinting machine today is like resisting the inevitable. It's not going to happen. In fact, more so, I believe that in tier 2, tier 3 cities, it has aspirational values where a lot of people want to get the machines, but because of one issue or another, they are not able to. In certain tier 3 cities, like Mr. Das pointed out, availability of electricity is a problem. So there, the use of tinting machines like the manual one comes in. Believe it or not, we're still selling them. We still get inquiries from people that, "Nay, I do not want the regular tinting machine. I want a manual one." Though it's a small percentage, but yes, that percentage is still there. Then for the MSME, issues that come up are logistically there. Competition with the other companies that are there, the biggies like Asian, Berger, Nerolac, of course, that to an extent is there. But then again, the product is what should speak, and that is where we need to get stronger. From the point of view of tinting machine, what a thought that came to mind, very honestly, I was after speaking to Dilip today, and something that even Mr. Das touched on just skirtingly is, if for the MSME, if we are to push and try to push machines in a large way, I think it would help if the MSME, the companies, the manufacturers became agents more than resellers. It's something which I came to know just a few days ago that a few car companies have done, is they've turned their dealers into franchises. Chip shortage being in play, of course, I'm sure it has affected FFM also in a certain way. Yes. They've turned their dealers into franchises rather than dealers, so they've stopped undercutting. So here what happens is, in a situation like that, we can leverage the organization, the infrastructure that Fast and Fluid already has. And it levels the playing field for the MSME. We are not fighting with each other as well. Because, see, eventually, everyone wants to put a machine. I would love to install 500 machines in the next quarter. Absolutely love that. But then there are barriers to achieving that. Now, as an organization, as an MSME, I don't want to make money. We don't want to make money on the machine. We want scalability of volumes so that there are more and more and more machines. It is inevitable. The more machines I sell, the more paint I sell. It's a very, very simple correlation where this is concerned. There are dealers who have, I personally know at least 100 people who have at least 3 machines. He has a Berger machine, he has an Asian machine or a Nerolac machine, and he has my machines as well. And essentially, there is only one machine working. Eventually, tinting एक ही से होती है, but 3-3, 4-4 रखी हुई हैं. The main barriers that come in with dealers when we come to the retail market for MSME is the support that we need in the infrastructure that you already have, right? If we talk about the top 5 industries, I'm going to make it industry specific, so basically segment specific. When we talk about the premium players as they may be, the retail market, 100% acceptability is there, and dealers don't have a problem giving the money when they ask for it. Whereas with the MSME, the question always comes, "Nahi yaar, Berger is doing X, aapko kyun itna do?" So we need the support of the companies like Fast and Fluid Management, rather than companies being resellers and fighting over each other. Like Mr. Das also pointed out, as a conscious effort, if you look at the Diamond Council, you have very few jewelers advertising. You have the Diamond Council advertising diamonds. If you look at it from that point of view, a centralized promotion, a centralized push would help. And then, of course, the finance part of it also would come a long way, because once we are, as MSMEs, are treated as agents, or any sort of, if you make a sort of an association or a sort of let's say a tinting system association, right? So there it would help, because it would help us leveraging the infrastructure you already have in play, and then promoting even more widespread acceptability of the tinting systems, specifically to tier 2, tier 3, because in those areas are where the I don't want to keep harping on the financial aspect of it, but there is where it becomes very important in the tier 3 cities, particularly. That is where because in a tier 1 or a tier 2, everyone knows you have to have a paint shop, you have to have a tinting machine. It's a no-brainer for a dealer. And if a dealer does not have a tinting system, then eventually either he will have it, or slowly, steadily, he's going to start either shifting his product base or close on paint altogether. Because inventories now for manufacturers, for dealers, eventually it's all about inventories. It's all about economics, and a tinting system is where it makes the most amount of sense. So just my 2 cents are the adaptability and accessibility should be made slightly easier for the MSME. And second is the support update. If as an industry, as a company, if FFM can bring up something where updates, etc., are pushed over the air rather than going counter to counter, because there are a lot of areas, even in tier 2, tier 3 cities, tier 1 cities, where dealers are accepting new technologies. They are open to investing a little bit extra to make things easier. So things like that would definitely help. And I think for me, that's about that I have on this.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Aditya, for sharing the barriers in in catching the opportunity in tier 3, tier 4 into increasing the adoption rate of the tinting machine. Yes, for the retail outlets, tinting machine is an imperative, but you also pointed out the power interruptions, the investment or finance option, and the infrastructure required for that distribution. Those are to be addressed, and it is very, very similar to what we heard earlier from Mr. Das. And he also talked about some database updates by air. This is one thing unique about India. We may have power crisis in the tier 3, tier 4 cities, but not an internet issue. So that is definitely an added advantage. Mobile phones are common everywhere, so we are looking at leveraging mobile phone more and more. Thank you very much, Mr. Aditya. We have captured that.
Thank you.
And also, yeah, MSME being an agent, a valid point you told that. With that, I would request Mr. Acharya to share on the specific skill sets that we need for the retail outlet, the operators, and the people dealing with customers there, to enhance the customers' choosing and buying experience, from making painting into a welcoming event rather than a unwelcoming event.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Fluid Management, for giving me this opportunity to be a panel member. I worked in China too, and in China, as you know, though the paint per capita consumption is higher, much higher, there are not as many tinting machines. So I used to always wonder, why is it that India has been such a successful place in the arena of tinting? Now, what I realize is there are many factors which goes to making this a wonderful place of opportunity for tinting ecosystem. One of them is our inherent love with colors. We are a country very colorful. You see the different festivities. In fact, you can speak a language in color. It's as beautiful as that. So we love colors. So traditionally, we have always been color lovers. Second, I think the paint companies, and Vinod alluded to that, his personal people like Vinod made a difference. They ensured that they promoted this concept with a missionary zeal. Then the dealers also, understanding the economics of it and the productivity that comes with it, accepted it, though it was still took some time, because I remember the typical azure blue, paradise blue, all these colors were still sought after, direct colors. And tinting itself, thanks to people like you and the various companies in the tinting and colorant system section, they put in their very best effort in making this a pleasant experience. But the pain is still there, and there are many areas of pain. And that has to be looked as opportunities. These challenges will have to be looked at as opportunities. We must have a vision when there comes a day when I, as a consumer, actually goes and gets the paint to do it myself. So from choose it yourself, buy it yourself, we should slowly graduate into do it yourself. Though it's a tall order, but I think that is the day you can say the painting, the exercise of painting has been successful. That's a long path which we have to travel. But in the meantime, there are many skill sets, and I'm going to now refer to the point you have asked me, the question you asked me. There are many skill sets required. I have always believed in my 40 years of association with paint sector that paint is actually an engineering material, and the tinting ecosystem symbolizes this very well. For example, without a proper, consistent base, no amount of tinting can be successful. The base has to be consistent. So there is skill required in production area. Then the colorant manufacturers spare no efforts in producing consistent colorants. Then the machine manufacturers have to ensure that the measurements that come out of that machine is accurate. And the dealers will have to ensure that the machine is cleaned and serviced all the time so that the measurements are correct. Lastly, the dealer's tinting person acquires a skill of matching it a little bit when it is offline. All this has to come together. In fact, sometimes I feel a tinted color is a miracle because all this has to come together. And so it is coming together, and therefore, but there is a lot of scope. You can ask a paint manufacturer who manufactures their own colorants, how much time they have spent in getting the output right. They have spent so much of efforts in ensuring that the system is consistent. With computerization, a lot of these pain will be taken out, but skilling will still remain. I remember conducting a seminar with Mr. Gupte and Nasser on tinting, how to restart machines. And the amount of information that they were able to give to the tinting dealers who had tinting machines were so many. And that, if they had implemented, I'm sure most of them implemented, they would have actually done a very efficient way of restarting the machine. So it is all coming together. And in every part of it, skill is required. We will spend our energies in ensuring that the tinting supervisor understands the importance of colorants, importance of bases. The production supervisor understands why color bases or white bases have to be consistent. We will also ensure that the tinting man, soft tinting machine mechanic understand the importance of maintaining the machines. So these are skills which we will provide to make the ultimate customer experience delightful. What is that? Come to the shop, get the color that you want, exactly that the way you have it in mind, with the help of a Macbeth or whatever, you bring a curtain piece or you bring a furnishing and get the color you want and go out in maybe in less than half an hour. And that is a delight. And not only that, then put it on the wall and ensure that it is done well. Now, the same color can appear different in different walls, depending on the surfaces. So surface preparation is an important skill we will have to provide to painters to say that the tinted color looks the same, on any wall. So it's all a game of understanding what are the right skills required to make this happen. And lastly, I think the dealer and the manufacturer have a big role in telling why tinting whether it is even decorative or even industrial tinting or even wood tinting, wood finish tinting, is the most effective way of managing their inventory and managing their, it's economical, so that ultimately the dealer, the customer benefits from it. Thank you, Bharat.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Acharya, for sharing those skill sets and how those skill sets will impact customer experience, taking them from satisfaction to delight. I fully agree with you. India is a colorful country, and definitely we know with the number of shades that are available to customers today, we are certainly a colorful country, probably 2000 or even more. And for this many shades, when the customer has the choice, they would like to get the right shade and some guidance on how that right shade will appear on their wall or on their wood preparation. So thank you very much for sharing the skill sets importance, not only in the shade for the customers, but also in terms of the upkeep of the machine, so that their uptime is always higher. Thank you very much. And with that, Mr. Gupta, I would like to, I hope, Dilip, we are okay on time. I would like to invite you to give a quick summary of all the insights that we had from the panelists here.
Thank you.
We're doing good with time, so no worries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I very well remember it was about 25 years ago when the Supreme Court held that the dealer tinting machine is not a manufacturing point. Okay. Till then, it was considered as a manufacturing point at the dealer's level, and the excise department started charging the excise on that. And the paint manufacturer went to the Supreme Court, and it was a turning point in the history of dispensers in India. Okay. And moment that decision came in, or the judgment came in, the people, the paint companies started thinking about installing the dispensers in the dealer's place. I remember when we used to install, rather I installed the first batch of 400 machines in 1996. It was a big order, and there used to be a big celebration. The dispensers were displayed in front of the shop. There used to be a decoration, and then there used to be a shopping shop where the dispenser used to be garlanded and everything. And there was also a software on the computer, which was a visualizer software, so that you can actually see your building or your wall or your rooms, how they can be painted in different schemes. And accordingly, the dispensers could dispense those number of volumes from the dispensers. The idea behind that, of having a dispensing system in the dealer's place, was to invite the family to the shop so that they could select their own shade. Otherwise, we know that it used to happen that the family used to put the whole burden on the painter. Painter would put some shades on the wall, and then they will ask the family which shade you want, and then he would mix up with this one. But that idea somehow has not still got up even today after 25 years. I hope that, rather I wanted that family enters the dealer shop, they see what is the shade, how it is prepared, and then it would have been really a most successful of the success of the dispensing system. Over a period of time, the dispenser went into the background, went into the godown behind, and the dealer started working directly on the shade which has been selected by the painter or a customer. In whole of this dispenser, what we observed was support was the most important and integral part of the dispensing business. And this support includes installation, training, and even providing the application support. And application support means the formulation of the shade. And when we started working with some of the major paint companies, the formulation, preparation
or what we call it as the G data preparation of the FINDEC was the most important one. And AGS provided that support to all the companies, including the major paint companies. And they could really launch the dispenser within a reasonable time. So that was the beginning of the dispensing business in India. And I remember, Balu, when we started getting the order, because once the major paint companies started installing the dispensers in the dealer's place, there was no stopping, there was no going back. And the orders were so huge that when we used to go to fast and fluid management, and when we used to say, I need about 600 machines in this month, the fast and fluid management said, no, this is my 52-week plan. I would not be able to do it. That was a story in India. Unlike other countries, India went much ahead, although it started very late, but India went much ahead. And today we have the largest installation of dispensers in the country. And as I said, the support formed a major part of the business, the integral part of the business. So initially, when we started providing this support, one engineer used to provide support for 50 dispensers. But as the population grew up, one engineer started supporting 100, and then it came to 150. And then not only that, we have to have a complete network of engineers throughout the country. So that was what was needed to provide a complete support to the paint companies, to the dealer, and to the dispensing business. So what is important is, what you need is a good service. And as Mr. Acharya said, the shop boy never remains more than 6 months or 1 year in the particular shop. He keeps on changing. So you do need a training all the time. And that skill will come from Skill Council. Although we provide that training, but more skilled people are trained, it will be more useful so that the problems are less. We have seen the first generation of the dispenser. There were problems. Problem means we used to completely analyze the service calls. So we used to have 1.65 calls per dispenser per year when we had installed the first generation of the dispenser. And when the second generation came in 2014, 2013, these calls went down to 0.65 calls per dispenser per year. And really for us, so that an engineer could handle not only 150, he handles now around 200 machines per engineer. And that is the beauty of the dispensers development all these years. We had a very big dispenser at that time. The dispenser started becoming compact and compact. And there are different type of needs in every city. We talk about a major city, there are different needs. When we talk about tier 2 city, there are different needs. We have not gone into tier 3 and tier 4 cities, where the dispensing need will be different. Here we need a special type of dispenser. And that dispenser only fast and fluid management can provide. Once that is there, the dispenser population will grow to such an extent that no paint company will manufacture a colored paint in their production. They will all have a tinting machine all across the country, and they will be able to do a much more color business than what is expected now. And so what I feel is, yes, we have a requirement, because otherwise if you see tier 1, tier 2, as Aditya mentioned, each dealer has a different type of dispenser coming from different manufacturer. So when you go to the tier 3 and tier 4, that dispenser will be really very popular, and that advantages to the consumer as well as to the paint company will be enormous. And that is what we are looking forward. And I hope that day should be sooner than longer. That's what I would like to add, Balu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, especially on that turning point in the printing industry, one Supreme Court law. That was interesting. And then the importance of having the nationwide, deeper service network to, and at the same time, making reliable machines. Definitely, it is for the paint companies to go more on the increasing the penetration rate of the retail outlets in the tier 3, tier 4. But yeah, your perspective was very good on how we can parallelly have deeper service network and build more reliable machines, which would have less of a downtime. Thank you very much, Mr. Gupte.
Thank you.
So thank you all panelists, gentlemen. I would now hand over back to Dilip.
So thanks to Balu for moderating that session ably, and also for all the panelists for sharing their specific areas of expertise as consistent with the theme of today. So it leaves us with a lot of food for thought, and hopefully we can build upon that going ahead with successive editions and also with offline engagement. A quick reminder to all attendees and a quick request actually to all of them. If you do have any specific questions, please do type it in the Q&A tab that is there. So we'll be fielding these questions at the hands of all the experts who are there after we finish the narratives to follow. So with that little introduction, I'd like to hand over the stage to Mr. Sunil Khare. He's the business director. He's the business head at Fast and Fluid Management, and he has a rich experience of over 25 years cutting across various functions, and he's been very strong sales oriented professional. So there is a special occasion today, and he would contextualize that with his narrative, after which we'll have Mr. Charit Akluri also from Fast and Fluid Management, who would make an actual presentation to drive home the point that Mr. Khare would initially introduce. So I'll hand it over back to Sunil. Sunil, if you can take over.
Thanks, Dilip. Thanks a lot. First of all, I'd like to thank all the panelists for giving the insights of the printing. We have a lot of opportunities now in India in the tier 3, tier 4 cities. And nevertheless, warm welcome to all the participants attending this webinar. Before I give it to Charit, I would like to talk about what FFM is about, what is Fast and Fluid Management. So Fast and Fluid Management is basically a US-based company with presence in all the continents across the world. We have India office in Baroda, India factory in Baroda. Our head office is in Chicago in US. One factory is in Netherlands, in Amsterdam in Europe, and then China and India and Australia. So that's what is our presence. And we have around 30 plus global locations with around our partners present in our 80 plus countries. So we have a big range of sales, service, support network to support our customer. As you know, as we sell a product which is for retail network, so we want to be very close to our customer. They're basically the retail counters. So we have presence to support that. Fast and Fluid in India, we manufacture our products for our local customers at our Baroda factory, which is a state-of-the-art factory, where products are engineered to be accurate, consistent, and reliable. And we deliver the product with the lowest TCO in the segment. Before Baroda, we were manufacturing some machines through AGS, and our India product used to come from Netherlands. Going back to the history of Fast and Fluid, just to give what Charit will be talking about, we are the oldest company in terms of printing products. We made our first shaker way back in 1937, around World War time. And we built our first dispenser somewhere in 1949. So we have a history of almost 70 years into printing industry. And after that, we did innovations and we make manual dispenser and automatic dispenser. So built products based on that. We are one of the most successful, as you know, our product called XSmart. That is one of the most successful dispensers globally, with about 1 lakh unit shipped from India and around 50,000 plus installed in India. And in addition to that, we have also installed other machines in India. So today, overall, we have around 70,000 plus dispensers supplied, installed in India. Some of them are working, some of them would have been replaced with XSmart. Cutting story short, today we will be talking about the availability of the entry-level new volume tinting machine, which will be, available for the small markets. This will open up dealership opportunities and entrepreneurship opportunities in the tier 2, 3, 4 cities, and also for the rural India belt. As you know, we are all discussing about the demand picking up in these regions. So last few months, our engineering team has been working on developing such a dispenser for the low volume tinting market. And today I'm pleased to announce that now we have first of its kind XSmart M product, which is the compact dispenser available. We will call it, we have named it XSmart M. M is a nomenclature in the XSmart series. XSmart is one of the most highly acclaimed used product or a highly sold product in India. This product will give the will be supporting the mid and small paint dealers in the tier 3, 4 cities, and also rural belt. As you know, India has got around 700 plus towns and cities where we still are not present. The tinting machines are not present. So today we are into tier 1 and tier 2 cities, but we are left with around 600 cities still to cover with tinting opportunities. So this product, XSmart M, is about going to the untapped market, the white market, which we have not gone about. As Mr. Vinod Das told, it's a black paint market. So this product will help all of us to go and tap that market. So with this, I will hand over to Charit. Charit, over to you. Charit will talk about the XSmart M capabilities, how the product will look like, and it's how it will help all of us to go to that untapped segment. So Charit, over to you. Thank you. And yeah.
Can you all see my screen?
Yeah, Charit, it's visible.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunil. Let me also take this opportunity to thank all the panelists. Those were some really interesting insights. And it was really great listening to you all, giving us your valuable inputs from the plethora of experience what you all possess. And at this time, I would also like to invite all the participants who have been patiently listening to us. I won't take much time. We'll quickly go through what we have in store for you today. And then Dilip would be opening up the forum for Q&A. Now, this is the product which we are launching today.
Charit, can you put it on a slide mode, please?
Put on a slideshow mode.
One second. Let me stop and then share again. Is it better now?
No, still it is coming. You have to go to slide. Yeah, now it's better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what we did was we took a very successful platform, which, as Sunil has rightly pointed out, XSmart, which we have been selling very successfully across the globe. And we worked on the design and we brought in the new product called XSmart M. Now, when we look at the Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 cities across the country, one thing which really stands out is basically the low tinting volume, which means the tinting demand is not as significant as a metro. That's the reason why one major requirement which came about during our market research was they needed smaller capacity canisters. And that's where we reworked on the design and we came up with a dispenser which has got lower canister capacity. And to make sure this serves all the customers, this is available both in decorative and solvent variants. So that's one advantage of this dispenser. Now, going back to some of the inputs, what we have been hearing from the panelists this afternoon, this machine ticks most of these boxes. It is simple, it is accurate, and it is reliable, something which will really help a person who is entering into the dispensing business or who wants to work without any showstoppers. It's a robust design and it's easy to install. Again, one of the major points highlighted by our panelists today. And again, with rural India, we just want to make sure our dispensers don't occupy a lot of space in their already small paint shops. So this has a low footprint and this can be moved around easily because of its less weight. Again, one major thing what we heard from most of our customers. And going back to some of the points what we discussed this afternoon, especially which is quite unique to rural India, is the inconsistent power supply. So one major USP of our dispensers is that they are low on power consumption, which means the basic tinting process can even happen over a UPS or can be done through a battery backup. That's one thing which is really helpful for the paint shops which are in the rural markets of the country. Again, all these at the end of the day contribute to having a less maintenance, which basically translates into lowest total cost of ownership. So you kind of fit it, forget it, and just run the business. So that's the major advantage what it has to offer to a paint shop person. Just to quickly touch upon things, as you can see, the design is globally acclaimed. So as you can see from the wrap where you see the Fast and Fluid logo over there, it can be actually branded by a paint company. And this wrap actually rotates 360 degrees. So that's actually a very big real estate available for paint companies to put up their brand and do the branding. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, the canisters are both suitable for, we have separate canisters for decorative paints and solvent paints, and portable footprint and low in weight. To make sure this machine is connected remotely, we do have a remote access through a mobile app from FFM called Prisma RT. And there is also a point of sale tinting software called Prisma Pro 2 available. And this is also compatible with various other third-party software applications. So that's another major advantage of XSmart M. Now, why is all this so good? I mean, for somebody who is already aware of dispensers, the piston pump technology, as you can see on my screen right now, is one of the major advantages. Now, what is unique about this design is, this is a tubeless design. And in a country like India, when you don't have any tubes in the dispensers, what it means is you don't have any problem with the rat bites. You don't have to worry about rodents biting the tubes of your dispensers because there aren't really no tubes in this. Then there is active nozzle closure, which means basically there is no clogging effect. So the machines will operate smoothly and there is no paint clogging which can happen in a machine like this. Again, going back to some of the points which were mentioned in the panel discussion, the technology which FFM offers, the Fast and Fluid Management offers, they have the requirement of doing calibration only once. And our machines are known to have the highest accuracy and the reproducibility of shades, which is very important for an industry like paint. All this contribute to better productivity. Again, I already spoke about the factors which contribute to low maintenance. So basically, if I have to highlight, there are no leaking canisters, there are no leaking nozzles, there is no tube involved in the design, so there is absolutely no maintenance required because of rodent bites or rat bites. And the active nozzle closure basically prevents clogging of the nozzles. So these are the unique selling propositions of our dispensers. And all these are coming from the XSmart platform, which we have leveraged to come up with this new product offering called XSmart M. To summarize, if I have to quickly lay it out there for you, it is basically across 3 parameters. This machine is high on performance, low on total cost of ownership, and you are working with a trusted partner. Now, the machines come with faster and consistent dispensing. As I mentioned earlier, there is very low maintenance and we are having the lowest cost of ownership in the segment. We do have good footprint of channel partners across country. These will help in easy delivery and servicing. And all this is backed up by the trust from FFM. So all this is being done because of the great platform what we have in the form of X series. So just to highlight what Sunil has already mentioned earlier, we are one of the leading companies globally. We have 4 manufacturing sites, and very recently, the plant in Vadodara, Gujarat has recently celebrated shipping of 100,000 machines from India to various parts of the globe. So that speaks volumes for the kind of success and for the kind of benefits we offer to the paint companies and to the POS partners. So that's it from me today. But again, we all want you to look at this XSmart M machine and see how it can help your business grow. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation, Charit. As I said, we have a few questions already coming in, and I encourage everyone to keep the questions coming in, on the Q&A tab. So there's one very specific hardware-related question from Mr. Arnab Ghosh. He asks, why is it that nowadays every dispenser manufacturing company is using piston pump technology instead of progressive cavity pump technology, where we can have continuous dispensing? Would someone like to take that?
Dilip, Balu will be the right person, or the Charit, being absolutely pure technical?
Yes, yeah, I just unmuted. So what we are looking at is largely on the trouble-free operation, and that is where the piston pump technology has been proven, and we are continuing to adopt that. So that is what my short answer would be. And as far as the tinting time taken, that is also in less than a minute. Even if it is 4 to 5 colorants for a shade, that can be achieved. That timing can be achieved. And after tinting, as you all know, it will be 3 to 4 minutes of mixing. So this piston pump technology is proven, and it is more reliable, and that is why we are continuing to adopt that.
Balu, I'll add only that the piston pump technology gives only that single calibration.
Yeah.
Charit mentioned. So you don't need a calibration and again and for every machine. So that is advantage of piston pump.
Yeah. So the reliability is not only on the machine hardware, it is also on the quality. Like you will have absolutely no mistakes due to any reason within the hardware. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a few clubbed questions, a common thread of questions from 2 or 3 paint manufacturers. I'll not mention their names because there are too many of them, but I think these are paint manufacturers who have not yet adopted tinting in their operations, but evidently they're inspired by what they've seen today, because the question that they're asking, the gist of what they're asking is, if we have to make an entry into this particular space, what would be the recommended quantity? And of course, there's something commercial, but I think we should not go into that. But what is the recommended quantity? I mean, of course, it depends, I'm sure, on their dealer base, etc. But just as a manufacturer who has so much experience with this, is there anything that you might want to, what is the typical size? I think it's a little more strategic, but if you still have any opinions on this, it'll be good to come.
Yeah, quantity is not a constraint, but I think the question is largely around, validating the bases and generating the tinting formulations. Now, that is typically done by the paint manufacturers and the colorant companies, not the tinting machine manufacturers. Okay, but as far as we are concerned, if the formulation database is there, we can incorporate that in our software. And quantity is not at all a limitation. It is formulation and database is all done by the paint company and the colorant company partnership.
Yeah,
I think that we have Dilip. I'll just add what Balu has said. We do have more than 25 or 30 customers, who have taken from 2 dispensers to 10 dispensers. So the number of dispensers or the quantity is not at all a constraint.
I would just like to intervene over here. Now, two questions have been intertwined and both of them are very valid. But what, Dilip, you pointed out, there are people who have adopted MSME who has adopted the machine and who are yet to adopt the machine. Now, who have already adopted the machine, so they're already into the process of making the bases, buying the colorants. What happens, what the problem that comes up is in technology acquisition. The getting the bases standardized, developing the databases so that tomorrow, if there is any change, you don't have to rely on a third party to do the legwork again. So as someone who's already adopted it and started small and come to where we are today, what I can recommend to everyone is that you have to tie up, like this is something that is needed, and effort is needed even from the tinting system manufacturers here, not just the colorant. I think it's too simply just putting the onus on the tinting, on the colorant manufacturer and the paint manufacturer. It is there, it should be up to them, but no. If we are to promote the mass adoption, and that through the MSME, then skill development is important. I'll tell you something which I personally did. I took a team, went and camped out at my colorant supplier for 3 days and had them train me and my team. So that tomorrow, because acquiring manpower, particularly for the tinting system by a manufacturer, is difficult, because today all companies are very secretive with where technology is concerned and where technical people are concerned. We protect them with all our might so that information does not go. It holds steadfast for an Asian, a Berger, and Nerolac, and it holds steadfast for me at Acro as well. Because it's very difficult, particularly specialists where tinting systems are concerned, database development is concerned. So here there has to be, you have to create some sort of a forum wherein people, if they don't have the technical manpower, at least they themselves, because in a lot of MSMEs, it is the promoters who are the technologists who are with their low-level chemists. That's how more or less everyone started out, right? So their skills need to be developed, and the more you have that going on, the more adaptability you'll have, the more adaptation you'll have amongst the MSME of the machine. Eventually, if they know what to do, they're going to buy a machine to do it.
Agree.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Aditya.
So we have time for one question, and again, Mr. Veeramani has asked the question, but it also reflects the views and the concerns of a few others. So it's basically to do with the MSME segment, where he said that for the MSME segment, paint manufacturing is basically about manufacturing a base paint economically and standardizing the same with a standard color fan deck. To go ahead with this, he's spoken of the need for a good tinting manufacturer who can also validate the basis and generate tinting formulations to be loaded in the machines at the point of sale, at the actual retail outlet at the point of sale. So while this is a statement, I think his question he closes it with a question that, is this something that a tinting machine manufacturer can actively help the paint manufacturer work ahead with? Because his comment is that their duty should not stop at the sale of the machine.
Yeah, Dilip, that's what I shared, and then followed by inputs from Aditya right now. Basically, what Aditya said is a tinting machine manufacturer should not shy away from this, should partner with colorant company and paint companies. We will explore on doing that. And he also gave about some best practices, what they had done in getting the skill sets of the people who can try out these formulations. Like he gave his own personal example of visiting a colorant company and camping there for 3 days and working on the formulations. Right, Mr. Aditya?
Dilip, I just like to add here to what Aditya said. See, it's the initial help you can get, but we all know who have been in paint manufacturing that paint manufacturing is any product, any manufacturing of any product is a combination of so many raw materials. So you got to have a very good quality control at the production side. And as Aditya said, he went and understood, his team went and understood, got the skills. Now that skill has to be completely available at the manufacturing side all the time, because consistency is very important in basis. And this, even if you learn it once, standardize it once, it may not remain standard unless you check it all the time. 27 raw materials go into making a paint. Any change in the densities, any change in specific gravities of any raw material, and even the raw materials are not consistent all the time. So I have seen bases. I have taken random sample of 50 quality control charts, quality control observations, and the bases have drifted from one to completely different without the person knowing it, because the drift is so small. So just as we do checking of calibration of our machines, even calibrating the composition is very important. The raw material, that is the paint materials, bill of material is very important. So this, I would request, my suggestion is that paint manufacturer must develop the skill of a good quality control chemist. For that, we have necessary curriculum and we can actually provide the skill.
That would be, I agree with Mr. Acharya. Step one would be standardization and getting a grip on excellent standardization.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Acharya. So that is one solution to Mr. Veeramani's question. Yeah.
Correct. So on the conciliatory note of consensus, I think we can actually draw this to webinar to a close with the permission of all the panelists, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I must, before signing off, I think it's my pleasant duty also to thank Fast and Fluid Management for convening this session. Of course, with my team at Paint India who put this together. The panelists, and I'll take the liberty of naming each one of them: Mr. Vinod Das, Mr. Aditya Gain, Mr. Jagdish Acharya, Mr. V.C. Gupte, and of course the team at Fast and Fluid Management who put together the content, the coherence, the flow, and I've taken the trouble to educate, at least make a start in educating the industry, because this education is going to go a long way in the mass adoption of this technology, which will eventually benefit the paint industry. So till such time that we can all meet again, because it's a matter of time, we seem to have seen the worst behind us. Of course, we need to continue to take care and remain vigilant, but hopefully we can all start engaging in person also going ahead, and there'll be more occasions like this when Fast and Fluid Management and worthy industry peers can actually put together sessions like this in the physical format also. So let's look forward to that. Until such time, there will be many such webinars coming our way. So of course the Paint India show, sorry I couldn't resist that, but the Paint India show is coming up in a little over 3 months from now. So all of us are going to be there in person. Fast and Fluid will be there. Everyone will be there. So that's another opportunity to look forward to and extend our education and our industry interaction. So thank you, one and all.
Just one request: if Charit could share that presentation, it will be very useful, because we can promote this concept widely. Thank you.
Sure, I'll do that.
Very nice. We'll do this. Yeah. So thank you, one and all. Continue to take care, remain safe, and till we meet again, wish you all the very best in your personal and professional endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dilip, and thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks.